Andrea Roth, welcome to Just Build Wealth. I was doing some research on the back end, and I discovered that we have a similarity, which is we both studied international relations. And so I'm curious, how did that tie into the art world for you?
Yeah, well, it's interesting because I did an international relations undergraduate major at UCLA, and I loved it. I've always loved anything international. I love different languages. I was born in Romania. I lived in Israel for a while. Then I moved to the States when I was 7. So I think I had that sort of nomadic impulse in my genes from very early on. And my intention was always to go into diplomacy of some kind. And then I had a job as an art gallery operations manager. It was just a long story, not terribly interesting. And, it really kind of triggered my love of art. And more than anything, it was really how art fits into the context of history. So I still had this international flavor of love of, cultures, but then the artifacts became more prominent in my awareness through this gallery work, and the fact that my father, who was a physician, but was really an art lover at heart, and really just educated me about art as I grew up. And everywhere we traveled, we stopped at every museum. And so it was sort of in my blood that way. And then after graduating from college and having a few years out of school, I went back and got a master's and PhD in art history.
Mm-hmm.
So it really wasn't a very natural progression. It's kind of strange.
Yeah, well, I think what you just said about art kind of being a study of history, right? And that now that we can appreciate the manifestations of history. It also made me think about wine, and I suppose wine is a huge thing that people collect. And I've heard that the history of wine is the history of Europe, because so many different regions have changed hands, et cetera, et cetera. Bit of a tangent, but I'm wondering, I live near New York City, right? And there's big artists in New York City, and there's big galleries in New York City. Some of them are much bigger than others. And I'm just curious, how do the biggest artists get so big?
Well, if I had that crystal ball, Ryan,
Yeah.
I would making a fortune there. Honestly, it has to do with exposure and some luck. You think about, like, how do actors get big? You kind of wonder, right? I would say that probably what the common thread with all of them is having some kind of